Hello, friends. Ron Nate here, Idaho Freedom Foundation, with another edition of Ron's Weekly Windup. And here we are on November 12th, 2025, joined by Bryan Hyde, who's hosting the show today. Bryan, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. You were busy, I saw over the weekend. In fact, there was an anti-ICE protest that you were out there actually getting video. I want to know a little bit about your experience. I saw the video, but I'd like to know from your experience, what was that like?
Yeah, it was a little over a week ago, and we recorded it. So if you haven't seen it, I know you have, Bryan, but for those at home who haven't seen it, go to our channel on YouTube, the Idaho Freedom Foundation on YouTube, and you can see it. It's 7 minutes of just, I think, pure gold if you want to understand how the leftists view the world and view illegal immigration and their unwillingness to enforce federal law regarding immigration. And it's actually humorous in spots too. I was surprised at some of the wacky ideas. I was also surprised at the lack of their willingness to talk to someone who simply wanted to ask questions. And it's true that we will air whatever they say, and so maybe they're a little embarrassed to have their views aired.
Our country's allowed to have borders and enforce them. Dude, nobody's coming to take your nuts. You're gonna be all right. You're sparking paranoia, and this is about schizophrenia. Religion is doing this, and the white supremacists are doing this, and you're doing it as a tradition.
They're quite an interesting bunch. Some of them didn't want any country borders at all. In other words, one world order. Others just had a problem with ICE enforcing immigration. Many of them did not even know what ICE stood for. And so, great entertainment. Go to our YouTube channel, check it out.
I thought I heard at least one of them get after you for, was it agitating the comrades? Did
Agitating the
I hear
comrades.
that right?
He had his face covered. It's funny how the leftists call themselves comrades.
You're agitating comrades.
I'm asking questions.
No, you're not.
At least they're honest, right? They view themselves as communist comrades, so at least we know what we're up against.
So we did have elections this last week, and these were not some of the big ticket elections like we expect during a general election year, but nonetheless they were important. Talk to me about some of the outcomes that we need to be aware of.
Sure, these off-year elections are always a bit more sketchy because you have lower turnout. I think it was at most 28% turnout across Idaho. But I hear a lot of people complain about property taxes in Idaho and the extent of what they have to pay for their local cities, their counties, their school districts, recreation districts, auditorium districts, whatever. I'll tell you what, though, it is these off-year elections, it's these local elections that largely determine your property taxes. It's true the legislature sets the sales tax and sets the income tax, but property taxes are largely determined by what your cities, counties, and school districts are doing. And so if you don't vote in them for your trustees or you don't vote based on levies or bonds, you're letting your taxes go up without your say. Across the state, I was pleased by a lot of levies and bonds that failed. And it's because they're always asking for more. It seems to me there's a movement these days where fire departments and police stations want the nicest and flashiest buildings. But that's not always what's needed. Rexburg defeated their bond to build a new police station. Sugar Salem Library District missed out on a levy. Valley School District, their levy was defeated. Blaine County was very good at defeating the levies there. And this is property owners standing up and saying, you know what, we're tired of piling on with extra taxes for levies and bonds that we're already feeling the squeeze. We shouldn't price people out of their homes with property taxes. And so, but there's a lot that passed too. And so there is that. But it was good to see property owners stand up.
As you look at the bigger picture, like some of the other election results in other states last week, what are your thoughts there?
Oh, I looked at New York City, I looked at Virginia, and yeah, it's an off-year election, and these are blue states, but I was surprised that the governor in Virginia won after supporting an attorney general who outwardly spoke up and advocated political violence, saying that some people should be shot and their kids, and did not disavow those remarks. And the governor who endorsed that attorney general candidate did not pull back on the endorsement, and they both still won in Virginia. Shocked by that. I was also shocked that an outwardly socialist mayoral candidate won in New York City, saying that government is the solution to all big problems and that there's no problem too small for government to address. At least he's honest, right? But now we will see the fruits of what a socialist can do to perhaps America's greatest city. It is, New York City, they're, right across the harbor is Ellis Island, and that's where the immigrants come. And he is celebrating immigration, but in a way, celebrating the destruction of American values. America was built on the principles of freedom, prosperity, individualism, building your own future. And he thinks that people shouldn't be responsible for themselves. They should be dependent on government. We should take from the wealthy, give to the poor, and have a socialist system. I predict what we'll see is over the next few years, wealth will exit New York City. They'll be left with a socialist system with no wealth to draw on. And so they'll all be equal, but they'll be equally poor. And we'll see New York City slowly circle the drain. And so watch for that, I guess.
Did you catch the change in his tone once he had been elected? I mean, he was the $1 million smile, and it's all going to be so great, and it's all going to be free and fair. And but once he was elected, there was anger. I mean, his remarks they were quite fiery compared to the Mr. Nice Guy while running. I just thought, isn't that curious?
Well, it's part of the
Fireworks there.
leftist ethos that it is self-loathing, and it's by self-loathing, I mean they have to hate America. They have to hate their own country um, for their leftist vision to rise to the top. They don't like America. They don't like what America stands for, so they're fighting against it. And so they cloak what they say in this idea of equality and freedom, but as soon as they win, then they show you their true colors. So they don't really mean equality. They mean sticking it to some to benefit others, to right the wrongs of the past that they perceive.
I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
It's what critical race theory is all about. It's what DEI is all about. It's what the leftist agenda regarding trans rights are all about, is that some people have been wrong. There's oppressors and there's victims, and they somehow know in their minds how to correct the whole system. Well, I don't trust them.
Here, here. Government shutdown appears to be coming to a close. Your thoughts on how it's affected us?
Oh, it's interesting whenever the government shuts down, what they decide to shut down. I mean, they could shut down the things that don't matter, and really for weeks, nobody really noticed, right? But only when they threatened to shut down flights and TSA and affect people's travel plans did some legislators finally get off the dime and go, okay, we don't want to be blamed for this shutdown. So some Democrats defected. Looks like the shutdown is ending, and crisis averted yet again. But whenever we avert a government shutdown crisis, it means we're going to add trillions to the debt, and that's what looks like is going to happen.
Speaking of trillions to the debt, let's talk about a couple of the things that floated up here this last few days. 50-year mortgages, $2,000 stimulus checks. Oh boy.
I was stunned. I'm an economist, and to hear the idea floated or promoted to have 50-year mortgages. I mean, with a 30-year mortgage, just think how long it takes for you to get right side up on your loan. A 50-year mortgage, it might take you 30 years for you to finally owe less on your home than its price. And it's not a recipe for long-term prosperity. It's going to benefit banks. In the short term, it'll benefit home builders. In the long term, it will only be banks. And so you think you might be able to afford a home again. Well, if more people are in the market getting money from banks to do this, home prices will go up. It's not going to make them more affordable. The thing that will make homes more affordable is more supply of homes. And so if we get government out of the way of home builders, we'll see more homes built, more affordable homes built, and people be able to afford them. Trying to monkey around with the mortgage market, probably not the best way to do it.
Amen.
Well, I think that's it for our topics. I appreciate you again, Bryan.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so that's another Ron's Weekly Windup. Little look back at what was going on, little look in the future. Get on idahofreedom.org to see what we have cooking, and have a great day, my friends.